Hello and welcome to everybody who's joined us so far. We will be getting started in just a few minutes' time. Okay, well, look, we will get started, and look, it's really exciting to see everybody tonight to attend the BSB51918 Diploma of Leadership and Management Student Information Session. It's one of the newer courses we have here at Mentor, and it really is one of the most exciting offerings that we have available, and the uptake and interest from the students is incredible, not to mention the industry demand and all the sorts of things that are happening. Joining me today in our prospective student information session, I have our Chief Academic Officer, Iona McKinney, and the head of our student educational advice team, Danielle O'Neill. So Iona and Danielle, welcome.
Thank you, James. Thanks, James. Great to be here.
Excellent. Now, I'm sure everybody is extremely busy, so we'll get underway. And first of all, I'm going to hand on over to you, Iona, to give us a little bit of insight into the course itself.
Okay, so the Diploma of Leadership and Management it's actually a really great course because it provides a platform for people to be able to, or a place for people to be able to develop their knowledge and their workplace skills. And it applies to a whole range of different roles within organisations. So people might be either working in a particular role and want to develop, deeper knowledge and deeper skill, or they might actually be looking, to move into that kind of role and provide themselves with opportunities. The other thing they might want to be looking at too is changing job roles, so changing careers, or actually as a job seeker, developing really relevant, if you like, business orientated leadership and management skills that apply to a number of contexts. So we often find that there's a real spread of people that undertake this course either in this form or as a dual diploma in the Diploma of Leadership and Management and Project Management, for example. So often they're people that are working in supervisory roles, so they're already working with teams. They might be a team leader, they might actually be a division manager, a unit manager. They could be a team leader, or they could be somebody who's working in a team or in a project team, for example, as a project officer, and they're looking to move up into that next realm of their career. They could actually be project managers or middle-level managers. We often find that we've got a number of people who come into the course because they're managing a division or a unit, or they're managing a branch of an organisation somewhere. So there's a lot of opportunities. So at the end of the course and completing all the units, students are awarded with the Diploma of Leadership and Management qualification.
Now, Iona, the Diploma of Leadership and Management, what would differentiate this particular course from something, say, the Diploma of Business, which is perhaps a little bit more general?
Okay, so this course is literally about leading and managing people and organisations. So it takes into account a different range of skills. Maybe, James, I think it's the next slide, isn't it, where we've got the units on the slide?
Absolutely. We'll do. Yeah. Look, we can really deep dive into those now.
That'd be great, because then I can put it in context for everyone that's here. So, and as I said before, there's a whole there's a whole realm of things that we do when we work in a leadership and management role in any organisation, and it takes into account everything from working with the operational plan, which includes workplace planning and staffing and so on and so forth, production outputs, depending on what sector we're in. It's also about relationships, because everything we do in a workplace is about a relationship, and it's a stakeholder relationship. So it's about working, it's about us, the other people we work with, our clients, our internal and external clients, collaborating with other departments. It's also about being effective, because if we're working in an ineffective team, and I'm certain that a lot of people have experienced this, ineffective teams get nothing and get nothing done. Yeah, they just get nowhere and get nothing done. So that's a part of it too. The other thing that we look at is our own professionalism and our own professional practice and developing that, and how to develop a professional practice plan and a personal development plan. As I said before, workforce planning, operational planning, one of the things that we all find a challenge, and I know I do some days because I sit in a lot of meetings, is managing meetings. How many of us have been through a meeting? And when we started out doing meetings, we you know, how do you take minutes? How do you create an agenda? How do you actually time limit meetings and keep everyone on track? Yeah, because meetings can be an incredible time sink. One of the fabulous things that we do look at in this course, which isn't in, which is specific to this course, is concepts and projects. Because often in these roles, whether we're a team leader or a middle level manager or a branch manager or whatever, we've got small and medium-sized projects we either undertake for clients, or there are internal projects that are part of our strategic initiatives and strategic planning. So this course actually includes how to actually develop those concepts, how to create a business use case, how to do a feasibility study, and then actually about how to take that project and get and implement it and get it happening and get it completed. So that's also why we've included sustaining a work environment in an innovative way. Innovation's a great thing as long as it's done well. If it isn't done well, it's over time, the project's over budget, we blew the concept that we developed in the beginning, so on and so forth. So that's what continuous improvement's about. So what we've attempted to do with this course is as we've built this course is we've attempted to make this course the type of course that gives someone who studies it the ability to do those things in a workplace, whether they're working as a consultant or for somebody else or for themselves, whether they're moving up into those roles. We've attempted to actually build this course so it's truly relevant to what you do in leadership and management roles.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, look, I will say to everybody as well, if you do have any questions, please use the Ask Question function on your Zoom panel, and I'll do my best to put those to our subject matter experts today. A question that has come in is just about the elective units. Now, do we have to do all of those? How do they fit in with the core units, or do I have an opportunity to swap them out?
Okay. Normally what we do when we build a course is the course, we're required to provide our students with courses that have true vocational outcomes, they're called. So as we build a course, it has to actually provide some real relevance out there to industry and in the workplace. There is always the option available to students, which we'll touch on later in tonight's presentation, of RPL and credit transfer for other studies that they've done. But often, because we build courses for vocational outcomes, and yes, those job roles and those job outlooks that, you know, are the potential opportunities for students, we try to encourage people to actually complete the course, because as it is. But yes, there is always the opportunity, and we always provide the opportunity for credit transfer and RPL, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of truly work relevant knowledge and experience, and that they can actually apply to have that recognised as part of their learning. So you were going to ask about job roles, were you, James?
Look, I was, and I'll probably just continue on a little bit of what you just said then as well. And often we have students come through who have taken on roles in, you know, I suppose, supervisor roles, management roles, where they have acted in some sort of leadership and management capacity before. And certainly that leadership and management experience can be quantified and transferred over by, say, recognition of prior learning, which is an RPL process. Is that correct?
Yeah, most definitely. We also will look at what's also known as recognition of current competency. So somebody might have been working in a job for 10 years and never actually done a formal qualification of any description, but they've done lots of professional training, and they've got lots of work experience that is actually measurable, and we can actually work with the person to record that experience and actually turn that into a course credit for their course as well, and that's called recognition of current competency. So yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Two things available there. Yeah.
Now, certainly with respect to the job role, I think we've touched on many of those aspects already, certainly in going through the core units and even with the job outlook there. I mean, one example that we pulled up was a office manager, which you could certainly apply to, but this idea of leadership and management, it extends across so many different industries and so many different functions. I mean, whether it be IT, construction, hospitality, retail. I mean, I dare say we're going to see a huge bump in manufacturing here in Australia in the next few years.
Oh, most definitely. And, and as we move forward, we know that, our working world is changing too. So part of, doing a course like this is also pulling down additional learning for ourselves so we can move into those job roles which are going to be in constant change and flux over the next couple of years as our industry sectors realign themselves because of global events, I suppose is the best way to say it. But there are some things that when we're working in leadership roles and management roles that are common to every role. And as much as I wouldn't suggest that this is in any way as a generic course, because we attempt to focus on that core knowledge and that core skill that is consistent, sort of within roles. So it includes, like I mentioned before, leading and managing teams. We look at, budgets and training and how to make training available and what's good training and what's mentoring and what's coaching and what's the difference. And we look at how to actually allocate work to a team. Yeah. How do we manage, team differences? How do we manage team workloads? When do we know that we need to provide additional supports? So rather than looking at teams and groups, working groups as human resources, we actually take a human capital approach. Because if we're looking at people as human capital, they truly have value. Yeah. So that's something else that we do within the course. And personnel activities, hiring, promotion, performance management, payroll, training, supervision. But how do you do that when you're managing remote work teams? And it can get tricky when all of a sudden we're operating in virtual office environments and we have to do something like performance management with a staff member. So we actually do look at that aspect of it as well. So we're looking at those future work skills and we're actually starting to practice them as part of the course. So we're looking at our cognitive ability and we're looking at problem solving and we're looking at managing remote communications, which can be really challenging at times, especially in leadership and management roles. So, well, any team role, anywhere really. So I guess, as I've said before, we've attempted to make the course as well-rounded as possible and as portable as possible from one industry to another, but also incorporate the aspects of all of that project work that we do and how to manage concepts and innovation and how to actually manage change in an organization as well, because that's always a tough one to do. What's the job outlook for this sector? Well, as it says here, office managers are expected to grow by roughly 8.2%. And that's employment opportunities with an average salary of 70K. So what we know is that this sector will have stable, the research tells us that this sector will have stable growth and it'll have lower levels of unemployment as well. So as we're looking at those different management and leadership roles, in office-based or administrative-based roles, we're actually looking at a growth of around about 8.2% in job opportunities.
Excellent. And look, I think something which you mentioned there, which is really important, is this idea of leadership. Now, I suppose the initial idea or concept behind leadership hasn't changed a lot, but the context by which it's delivered really has. I mean, certainly what we're experiencing at the moment is sort of gone are the days of standing on site or in front of the office or in a workplace with a big group of people around you. I mean, it's all done via video conferencing and telephone calls and things like that. And I think having a skill set to manage a team and lead a team in that sort of environment, is something very different and very new. And there's just going to be a heightened demand for those sort of skills moving forward.
I think one of the things that we need to appreciate, you know, out there in the big wide world is that industry is changing. We're utilising technology more and more and more. I know in our environment at Mentor Education, we utilise technology as part of what we do every day. But over the last 2 years, we've incorporated more and more technology into our workspaces because it makes our communication and our collaboration so much better. And that's something that's very, very important, is to actually be able to do that. We've got this concept about the changing world of work and how industry is changing, how technology has changed so many of the things we do. Once upon a time, we had a conference call where we all sat around the boardroom table with a phone, with a speakerphone, and we dialed the person and we could hear them on the speaker. Yeah. Now we sit on Zoom and we can see each other's faces. You know, it's an amazing time to actually be in our workspaces at the moment, and the level of collaboration that we have, that access to, because our utilization of technology has changed so much, is absolutely fantastic. So our job roles are actually have so many more dimensions to them than the days when we sat around the boardroom table. Yeah, we fired off an email and we didn't really actually get to interact and collaborate with the people we were working with. So, and I think that we know that this is one of the reasons why these job roles and the opportunities for these job roles will consistently grow, and we've got such a high growth opportunity within these type of roles over the next few years. Back to you for a moment, James.
Yeah, look, and I think it's a nice opportunity now for us to touch a little bit on some of the learning material in the course itself and just kind of bring that scope and focus back. What are some of the ways and materials that we use to deliver these skill sets to students who take on the course itself?
There's a wide range of learning materials that are actually utilised in the course. Obviously, there's set reading. There are students are provided with topic guides, study guides, as well as full textbooks. The students have the opportunity to participate in live virtual tutorials, and learn with their peers in a similar type of collaborative environment like we're using today with Zoom, to actually talk to everybody. Students also have access to discussion boards and discussion forums within their course materials, so they can share ideas and create their own network within their course. The other thing we provide is there's video case studies, simulations, and a few quizzes, basically in the course. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, look, we've actually got a slide dedicated to assessments coming up, so we won't
my favourite.
Well, it is, and all students like to know what the assessment is, but we won't give too much away just yet. And look, I think the webinars or the live virtual tutorials is something which we're finding students are getting a lot out of as well. And it's not so much just sitting there and listening to the lecture, but it's an opportunity to collaborate with other students and really build a cohort as you move through the course as well.
Most definitely. Look, the live virtual tutorials are held on a rotating basis through the course. So there is a live tutorial weekly. With a live trainer, it's not pre-recorded. So the idea of the tutorials is that it provides the students with an opportunity to develop, if you like, deeper learning of the topics in the course, and actually to be able to, at the end of the tutorial session, ask questions about the topics that they're learning about, and any other questions that they would like to ask at that time.
Excellent. And a couple of questions which we often get asked at this stage is, the first one is, do we have access to previous recordings? Which I understand the answer, of course, is yes. And then the second one is, are all the textbooks and resources included in the price?
Most definitely. in Mentor Education's courses, we provide the textbooks free of charge, and we believe that that's very important, that students have access to quality learning materials, and we're very lucky to be able to access those textbooks and make them available for the students.
Okay, excellent. Now, talking about accessing those resources and the learning management system itself, or the LMS, I'm going to hand on over to you, Danielle, to talk to us a little bit about the online learning experience. I understand you've done quite a bit of learning remotely yourself. You have a lot of interaction with students. What are some of the requirements for students who are looking at, I suppose, studying remotely, other than, say, a stable internet connection?
Absolutely, James. So as Iona said, everything is included with our course. There's nothing you need to go purchase on top of your enrollment. So as long as you have a sturdy internet connection and a decent device to study on, the learning management system is all online, so you don't need to be downloading apps and things. It's a web-based learning management system that you log into. You can see on your screen there the Let's Get Started tab, which is going to talk you right through the system, how to use it, as well as the Getting Started tab. And there's also a link there through to our student support, who are available to help if you did need anything, but you don't need anything fancy or too special. We provide you all that you need throughout the course, which is obviously available 24/7 whenever you want to study. You log in and it's there for you.
Okay, now as far as accessing the resources, laptop, PC, phone, tablet.
Yeah, so laptop, PC are going to be preferred. You can log in on a mobile, a tablet. It's not ideal. It's not going to be the best way for you to get your studies, but certainly when it comes to some reading material, it can definitely be done on the iPad, your phone if you need to. It's definitely an option, but you're going to want a PC or a laptop to be able to do your assessments and view everything properly for the best learning experience that you can have.
Okay, and look, talking from your personal experience now, often we have students who have come in who perhaps haven't done study for a while. Online study might be new to them. They're kind of used to doing it face-to-face, whether it be at uni or school or whatever it may be. I mean, how much of a jump is it to study remotely, using a system like this?
Yeah, I mean, it is a jump. It's different. You're sitting there by yourself, but it's not totally foreign. You've got the system, you've got us there, especially in this virtual digital world we live in now. We are just a phone call away. You've got your trainer every week in front of you that you see, and you are, collaborating with other students as well. So you're not left alone, despite the fact that you are not sitting in a classroom. So we are just a call or an email away. You've also got those recorded tutorials as well. So if the live isn't happening right when you sit down to study, you can still watch that tutorial and gain insight, hear other people's questions, and listen to what the trainer's saying as well. So it's different, but it's not totally foreign to learning in that face-to-face environment.
Sure, and look, I think what's nice about the live virtual tutorials as well is that's that almost a sense of accountability. We do have to kind of turn up to class each and every week, which is nice.
Exactly right. Yeah, you don't want to be logging in thinking the night before, I've done nothing, I don't want to tell them that tomorrow. You jump on and get it done.
Having said that, everybody, they are tutorials and we don't take a role in them. So no one's going to be penalised for not coming to class, and we don't have that type of process. But what you can do is you can always at any time access the recordings of the tutorials, and you can do that. And because you have the opportunity throughout the course to attend 3 live tutorials for each unit, you find that you develop basically the first time it's sort of an introduction to it for you, and then by the time you've moved through the course and you've come back to the unit, you discover that you're ready for that next step of learning as far as the topic's concerned.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, well, look, that sort of brings us to the end, I suppose, of the online learning management system. I mean, I suppose other than to say that what's nice about it is that it is self-contained, and that within the system itself, you can access external web pages, external resources, and of course, all your online quizzes and things like that are included within that kind of one system, or it's essentially a web page, really, isn't it? I mean, that's how you log on to it through your browser.
Oh, definitely. And as Danielle said before, it is portable. Yeah. We do recommend that you do assessment tasks, for example, on your laptop or on your computer, but to to work through your self-directed learning activities, access your texts and things like that. And it can be done on an iPad or a phone. You know, it is a responsive learning environment as much as we can possibly make it that way. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, for the slide that all prospective students have been waiting for, the assessment, and it always looks quite daunting when I see all of these assessment tasks up here, Iona, and as our Chief Academic Officer, I think it's your responsibility to talk us through these and let us know, do I have to do them all at once, or do they apply to individual subjects, or what's the go there?
I have to say, James, I've just looked at this list, and every time we do a student information session, I look at this list and I start to sweat, just like probably the students that are listening to us do. No, you don't do all of that in one unit. Throughout the course, what we do is we utilize different methods of assessment. So you will come across a really wide range of things that you'll be asked to do as an assessment task. So this list is just indicative of some of the things that you might actually come across as an assessment task, but I can add things to this list as well. So what we attempt to do with the assessment tasks throughout the course is take you through the topic and work with you to develop the knowledge, and then as part of your assessment and as part of your learning, you apply that learning to something real. Yeah. So you don't just get 65 multiple choice questions, heaven forbid. I think across the course there's only 2 multiple choice quizzes. There you go. But there's short answer questions, case studies and scenario responses. So case study responses are really great because it's about how you would take what you've been learning and respond to a situation with it. Yeah. Projects can include flow charts, research tasks, demonstrations, presentations of concepts, for example, communication plans. There's a whole range of things that might be included in your project. There is no 5,000 word essay in this course. In fact, there is no 1,000 word essay in this course, but there are a couple of research papers and research tasks, and usually they're related to projects and concepts and things like that. There are no role plays in this particular course, although there are a couple of presentations, and again I come back to the innovation unit and the continuous improvement unit. And practical demonstration, that's done as you respond to your case, you do your case study responses and scenario responses and your project tasks. Yeah, they're all practical things that you demonstrate to us that you've developed the knowledge to do in the workplace. Hopefully that doesn't sound too scary now. It's a scary list. It's a really scary list.
Of course, it's broken up over the extended period of the course as well.
Most definitely. We have to keep in mind that it's not just one topic, you know, that there's a whole range of units that students do across the course as well.
Now, look, we've just had a question come in, and normally we'll sort of wait to the end, but it's probably something we should have covered, and that's, are there any prerequisites to the diploma? So do I have to have another diploma before I can enroll, or what's the go there?
No, commonly we ask that students have studied to at least a year 10 level or above. If a student hasn't completed study to a year 10, they can talk to Danielle and her team, our education advice team. There are alternative pathways there as well. And we are able to make allowance for that as part of entry. So I'd suggest a good conversation with Danielle and her team from the outset. The only other things that you will really need is an internet connection, a stable laptop, and maybe a mobile phone to occasionally ring your trainer.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, Danielle, I'll hand on over back to you to talk us through the 12 months that students have to complete the course and perhaps some of the flexibility that's afforded in that, and then the student support element as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So the 12 months is a fairly generous time frame. We do find students finish a little bit sooner. It is entirely self-paced in that 12 months. So particularly at the moment, we have more students than ever that have a bit of free time and can dedicate sort of full-time hours to study and are getting it done a little bit sooner than those that are, say, working full-time and juggling everything else as well. But each student's different. Everybody's going to go through the course at a different pace, and that's totally fine. Of course, the student support team are available, so that's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So give us a call. The student support team are absolute experts at the system. They can talk you through it. And of course, we'll link you in with the trainers. Before you enroll, just give us a call on those details there, and you can speak with us in the education advice team as well. So there really is true full support, and of course the tutorials on top of that each week.
Excellent. Now, the 12 months as well. Now, look, life happens as it often does. If I do need a little bit longer, what's the process there?
Just get in touch. The best thing you can do throughout your studies is stay in touch with us. If life is getting a bit crazy and you're not getting into your studies the way you thought you would be, you can speak to us about a suspension. If things happen and you're not done by the 12 months, we can do an extension. So just really stay in touch with us. Let us know what's going on, and we're really happy to help.
I think it's probably fair to say in the 17 years that we've been helping students, you know, we've come across a whole range of scenarios, and it's like obviously about working with people. And I think one thing, you know, which we often talk about is life happens, you know, and it's about fitting your study in around life.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Now, these student support elements that you just mentioned, they're all included with the course as well?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. And then we've got a list of frequently asked questions, and these often come up, you know, I suppose from our students, and I dare say you're very familiar with quite a number of these, and it seems appropriate to hand it over to you to talk to us about some of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Would you believe I have heard all of those before? But I guess we'll just work through them. The reference to government funding, in a really short answer, no, we don't offer any government funding. Of course, so we have some really flexible payment options, and we have discounts running as well. So quite regularly, we have students tell us it's actually more affordable to enroll with us than it would be to opt into any sort of government funding or loans and those kind of options as well, which kind of covers off on the next questions as well. We do have payment plans, and they are flexible. So, you know, we have students that just want to split it up over a few payments or take a bit of time. There really is some flexibility there, and it's very worthwhile having a conversation with the education advisors about what you're going to be able to afford and what works best for your budget. So definitely. Moving on there to when can you start? Pretty quickly. So we don't have any sort of intake days or anything like that. You can get started when you're ready, which is another beautiful thing about that self-paced learning, that you can get started when it suits you. It takes us usually a few hours to get the course up and running for you, so maximum of 24 hours, unless it's a weekend, and we'll get the course up and running and you can log in through that system that we saw in the earlier slides. In reference to it being all included, as we already covered, it is. Sometimes our prices are so reasonable or affordable that people think there's a bit of a catch. There's not. It's all included. There's not going to be any sneaky fees or extra costs involved in the course. It's just what you pay to enroll.
Yeah, look, and I think this is a really interesting one, which is the difference with the study options. Now, we do have a couple. So we've got fully self-directed, you know, which is, and then we've got those which include the virtual tutorials. If you could just take a moment, I suppose, to take us through those, and I suppose what the differences are and what might be suitable for who. Absolutely,
yeah. So we've spoken a lot about the tutorials tonight. That is our recommended study plan for everyone and anyone. I think everybody gets value from the tutorials, whether they be very experienced or have online learning in the past. Whichever study option you take, you're getting the same course, the same qualification, through the same system. It's just access to those tutorials that changes. So some students will opt out of those, which means that you can still call your trainer and you can email them in business hours, but you won't get access to that live class or the recording. So it's students' choice, but we definitely recommend getting those tutorials. We've had very experienced leaders and managers come through that still found a lot of value in those, but that's the difference there.
Excellent, excellent. Now, I also understand that for those who have attended tonight, that we're making a special enrolment fee available for those who'd like to participate in tutorials.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So when you do speak with your education advisor, just mention that you've attended tonight's tutorial. You've had to listen to the three of us have a chat, and yeah, the education advisors will be able to discuss the details with the students.
Okay, great. So we can look after you there. Is it nationally recognised?
Certainly is, yes. When you're looking for a nationally recognised course, the course code is a really important thing to look for. Ours being the BSB51918 is the most up-to-date nationally recognised qualification. So yes, it is.
Excellent. And I think we very much covered the prerequisites. And how long do people take to finish?
Again, life happens. So some people are going to sit there and nut it out for 40 hours a week and finish it a bit sooner than the majority of us who are managing life and work and everything else. So it can vary quite a bit. We do encourage students to take really that full time or close to the full enrollment period for the best learning outcome. But some people can finish, most people would tend to finish in maybe 10 months of the 12-month period, with a fair bit of variety in there. That's a really tough one to give a straight answer to.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to fire this one out to, it's actually a question that's come in, and I'll probably lean on both Iona and you, Danielle, to answer this one. And it's come in, and it's about the dual qualifications that we offer. So talk to us perhaps, Danielle, a little bit about the dual qualifications that we offer. So a dual business and leadership in management.
Absolutely, yeah. There is a lot of value in adding the dual, and the Diploma of Business has another whole range of skills that get added on. It is a really good idea and it can benefit for most people, but if you're not sure on the course that's right for you, have a chat to us as education advisors. We are going to be able to tell you the best study plan and path based on your needs and requirements. But yeah, the duals are very handy. They're going to give you a whole range of skills, extra units and competencies as well. So worthwhile for most, but which dual and what course is best for you is going to be very individual. So definitely get in touch.
Sure. And look, Iona, I'll just hand on over to you a little bit, just to give us, I suppose, a little bit of insight into, I suppose, some of the competencies or areas that are covered in the actual Diploma of Business itself.
Okay, so the Diploma of Business takes into account aspects of business management. So managing finances, for example, creating a business plan, how to recruit. So as part of your human capital initiatives. So there's a whole range of additional things that you look at, and it's all actually literally those units literally relate to managing a business or operating a business. Strategic planning is also included, and marketing is also included. So how to develop a marketing plan, how to identify what markets that you're going to actually market into, and product development. So that's actually included in the Diploma of Business. So the goal of the dual business and leadership and management course is that it brings together that deeper knowledge and learning about being a leader and managing a business, combined with those practical business skills as well. So, excuse me, I apologize. So it provides students with just a bit more of an opportunity to develop deeper knowledge that they can take into a workplace with them.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So look, hopefully that answers the question. And we actually had another one come in, and this is about the 12-month time frame to complete. And obviously a lot of our students are working full time. Now, being that's the case, how many hours a week would I be expected to dedicate towards study to complete the course within that 12-month time frame?
Were you directing that one at me, to me, James?
Look,
sorry, I'm just sitting here waiting for somebody to answer. Hey, go team mentor. Seriously. Okay, apologies everybody. Look, commonly if you're working full time and you aim to complete your course over 12 months, around about 15 hours a week will actually take you through the course, and actually take you through in 12 months very comfortably. 15 to 18 hours, depending on the person and how fast, I suppose, they read.
Okay. And of course, I suppose with the flexibility of the online, we might be able to do 31 week, if we have some time off or holidays or whatever it may be. And,
yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Okay, well, look, that brings us to the end of tonight's session. So thank you very much for everybody who attended. Thank you very much for the great questions tonight. And of course, thank you very much to our panelists, Danielle and Diana. Now, if anybody's got any further questions tonight, please reach out to us. What's the best email address, Danielle, for us to get in contact with you?
So commonly you can go courseconsultant@mentor.edu.au or jump on the website. We've got a chat function. Facebook might be easier as well, but yeah, we've got courseconsultant@mentor.edu.au.
Excellent. And of course, you can give us a call or mentor.edu.au.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, once again, thank you very much for attending tonight. We hope you took plenty out of it, and we look forward to seeing you as a student with us soon.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you soon.